Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 presidential election in a scenario in which all hell breaks loose in the Republican Party, and basically the Republican Party is in complete shambles. Basically, Democrats having a huge miracle, and Joe Biden ends up winning re-election because there could be a realistic scenario in which Joe Biden does end up winning because he's done this before. He's defeated Donald Trump back in 2020, and since he has that record, maybe he can do it again. And so if we do have this reality, let's see how this map would look like in basically Donald Trump's nightmare scenario. But before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed, click the bell so you don't miss out on my content. Also, we have memberships. You can find a link to that in the description section if you are interested. Also, press the like button, give this video a thumbs up. Now back to the topic of today's video. So let's begin with this electoral map and basically Donald Trump's worst case nightmare scenario. Colorado is going to be safe right off the bat for Joe Biden. I expect him to win it by over 10 percentage points, just how he did just 4 years ago. This state's very blue, in my opinion, as well as New Mexico. It's really hard for Trump to overcome the votes in Albuquerque. It's a Democratic stronghold county, and it's really, stopping Trump from realistically making this state even close. It has a lot of white liberals in this state. And also, I do think that Iowa is going to be safe for Trump no matter what. It's pretty much a guarantee at this point. He's going to win that by double digits comfortably. And Ohio will be a little bit closer slightly than Iowa would be, but it's still going to, comfortably go to the former president by like 9 percentage points, a likely margin in this scenario. I also do think a state like Florida would still be likely for Donald Trump regardless. I also do think that Texas is going to be lean for the former president. A lot of people from solid blue states are moving over to the state of Texas, and I think that, that shift alone could actually trend the state blue in favor of the Democratic Party. But you can make the case that the people, fleeing blue states are actually Republicans. Well, I mean, it kind of works both ways. But Florida is a red, trendy state. Hispanics, Cuban Americans specifically, are really trending towards the right. Miami-Dade County flipped to DeSantis in 2022 from blue to red. It went to Biden in 2020. And then I also do think that Joe Biden will win New Hampshire and Virginia by likely margins, probably around, 6 to 7 percentage points for both of these states. Believe it or not, New Hampshire is actually polling better for President Biden more than any other swing state. Joe Biden, according to polls, is performing better in the state of New Hampshire than he is in his own home state, Pennsylvania. He's polling better in New Hampshire than he is in Michigan, Arizona, even Nevada, and majority of other swing states. So I do think that New Hampshire would probably support Joe Biden once again. And Virginia, as far as this state goes, it went to him by like 10 percentage points last time. And considering what happened in January 6th, if that's a real issue, it happened, I believe, in this state or, somewhere in between there and Maryland as well. I do think that Virginia would probably, reject Trump once again, and Biden would win it by like 7 to 6 points if Donald Trump has his worst case scenario, basically a nightmare for the Republican Party on election day or election week. I don't really know at this point, whatever you want to call it. Now moving on to the lean states for President Joe Biden. I think Minnesota would probably be the only lean state in a, Trump worst case scenario. I do think that this state is getting bluer, especially Minneapolis. The suburbs are, kind of left trendy, especially when it comes to suburban women. I think they are probably going to, support Biden significantly. I think if issues like abortion really drives these voters to the polls, I think that really can boost President Biden as it boosted Democrats back in, the 2022 midterms. But this is a general election, so we don't really know. And considering that Joe Biden does not have the BLM momentum in this state as he once, did in 2020, I think it's going to narrow up the margins. But still, Biden is going to win Minnesota by like 4 percentage points if he winds up winning re-election in a worst-case scenario for Donald Trump. And the lean states for the former president would be Georgia and North Carolina in this scenario. I think regardless if Biden does or does not win re-election, both Georgia and North Carolina would be lean or likely for the former president. The main reason why I have Georgia flipping is because the margin of error was just so small, roughly 10,000 votes, 0.2% for Biden. It was extremely narrow, and I just don't expect him to perform that well as he did among African American voters. That turnout was crazy. I just think it would, drop significantly, so Donald Trump is more than likely going to flip Georgia. I think it's one of the more easier flips for him. And as for North Carolina, believe it or not, this state's actually getting redder than a lot of people may think. Republicans have gained significantly in terms of new registered voters, so North Carolina is actually going to get redder. Donald Trump would expand on his 2020 margin from like 1.5% to probably 3 or maybe even 4 percentage points, regardless if he does win or not. And now moving on to the tilt states for both Trump and Biden. I think Biden would win Nevada by a tilt margin in this scenario. Trump couldn't even win it when he faced off Hillary Clinton, who you can argue is a worse candidate. So you can make the case that because Hillary Clinton's a worse candidate and Trump still couldn't win it, then Biden's obviously slightly better than Hillary Clinton. You can argue that. And so, with that being said, Biden would probably win Nevada once again. He won it by like 2 points just 4 years ago, so why wouldn't he? And then Arizona is actually a left trendy state. The state's getting bluer. Maricopa County is what's going to decide this state entirely, and it's a left trendy county as well. You have people from California moving down to the state, and it might push this state even more to the left. They've elected a Democratic governor, Katie Hobbs, for the first time since like 2009, which they haven't done so in a long time. And they even have a Democratic senator. So entirely, this state is very, it's getting blue. In the future, don't be surprised if they keep electing Democrats. I also think if Biden is able to perform very well among neocons, the establishment, side of the Republican Party, I do think that he might be able to win Arizona as he once did in 2020. And if he's able to perform very well among independent voters, undecideds, I think that really can help him in this state. And then as far as the tilt Trump states goes, I just think he would only get Wisconsin by under percentage point, even if Biden ends up winning re-election and is, Trump's worst case scenario. I do think regardless, Trump should be able to pull off Wisconsin because it was indeed the closest Rust Belt state of them all. It only went to Biden by 0.6%, roughly 20,000 votes. So I think it's very possible that Trump does flip 20,000, which is all he needs really to win this state. And I think that's very likely going to happen. But as for the tilt Biden states, I think it will be Michigan and Pennsylvania. Biden's going to win with 277 electoral votes. Winning his re-election to Donald Trump's 261, he will defeat him once again. So as far as Michigan goes, Biden got endorsed by the governor, Gretchen Whitmer, who is very popular, and I think that could possibly, carry him to a victory, but will it? I'm not quite sure. And keep in mind that Michigan was the bluest Rust Belt state of the most important ones. He won it by nearly 3%, 2.8 percentage points to be exact. So considering that this state is the bluest, I think it's going to come down to places like Detroit. I think suburban women can be very important for Biden. I do think Detroit is shifting towards the left. So overall, Michigan might actually be getting bluer despite Biden receiving less votes than Donald Trump, on top of the 100,000 people that already voted uncommitted in the Democratic primaries. I think Gretchen Whitmer's endorsement of Biden can really help him significantly. And as for Pennsylvania, it's obviously his own home state, so it would be embarrassing if he ends up losing this, but I still think he has a chance. Keep in mind, he won it by 81,000 votes, a margin of 1.2%. to be exact. And so I do think if he holds on to Erie County, he performs very well in Central County, as well as holding on to Northampton County. It only went to him by 0.7%. And if he's able to run up the numbers in some of these stronghold Democratic counties, like Philadelphia and the Pittsburgh suburbs, I think these suburbs specifically is what's going to decide this election ultimately entirely. So, there you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss out on my content. Also, press the like button, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget, we do have memberships. You can find the links to that in the description section. That's pretty much it. Let me know what states you agree with or disagree with in the comment section down below. And why do you think Joe Biden will win re-election? Thank you, everyone, for watching.